Welcome to Ngang TV, where we summarize stories you won't be able to turn away from. Today, we're stepping into the glamorous and mysterious world of the elite. In the lavish city of B, Dong Tu, a famous movie star, lives a seemingly perfect married life with Ko Diem Sin, the son of a powerful family. Her life is filled with film sets, trips, and a massive wardrobe of luxurious items. But did you know? Behind that shimmering facade, nothing is simple. Dong Tu sees this marriage as just a job, and she only returns home when there's a big enough reason. The focus of our story is an important birthday celebration. Madame Ko, a powerful and calculating woman, has summoned her son and daughter-in-law for one purpose: to showcase her daughter, Ko Phuong Phi, to an extremely special guest. As it turns out, this isn't just a party, it's a covert political meeting. During the preparations, a fiery argument breaks out. The spoiled younger sister, Ko Phuong Phi, brazenly demands a precious pin, a family heirloom of Dong Tu's late mother. Ko Phuong Phi assumed Dong Tu would back down, but she was mistaken. Despite her soft exterior, Dong Tu is soft on the outside, hard on the inside. She smiles and flatly refuses, protecting her mother's memento. The argument escalates into a sharp battle of words, revealing Ko Phuong Phi's disdain for Dong Tu and her now failing family. Though Ko Diem Sin tries to mediate, the tension remains. In the end, Madame Ko must personally intervene to end the verbal conflict. As Dong Tu and Ko Diem Sin are on their way to the party, a luxury Maybach suddenly slams into the back of their car. The strange part is that the Maybach's driver seems bewildered, but the man in the back seat is completely calm. He stares intently at the car in front of them and utters a cryptic line. Currently, she is the one who owes me an explanation. A collision between a Maybach and a Rolls-Royce is no small matter. As the two parties get out to assess the damage, a familiar name comes up. Bui Tu Tran, the man from the Maybach, introduces himself. As it turns out, he is the very same person Madame Ko wanted her daughter to meet, the highly promising, and highly sought-after, grandson of Elder Lai. Ko Diem Sin, trying to be polite, compliments Bui Tu Tran's reputation, but is cut short by a cold and observant comment, "Nice ring." Bui Tu Tran is looking at his wedding ring, a simple platinum band. He then turns his attention to Dong Tu, asking if she was hurt in the accident. With the car crash settled, a new problem arises. Bui Tu Tran declares he doesn't want to ride with his driver and insists on riding in Ko Diem Sin's car. Despite Ko Diem Sin's protest that his wife is asleep in the back, Bui Tu Tran seamlessly gets into the back seat, leaving Ko Diem Sin to sit in the front. Bui Tu Tran quietly takes in the sleeping Dong Tu, her beauty and effortless allure. Her delicate frame, the curve of her jaw, the exposed skin, a sight that makes it impossible to look away. He has to clench his fists to control his emotions. The sudden cold air from the open door causes Dong Tu to stir, and in an act of what seems like concern, Bui Tu Tran reaches for his coat. But Ko Diem Sin, ever the gentle husband, is quicker, handing over a blanket for his wife. Bui Tu Tran takes it and carefully covers her, leaving no skin exposed. Dong Tu is startled awake by the blanket. Confused, she wakes up to the cold voice of a stranger. She turns her head and her eyes meet Bui Tu Tran's. The air grows thick with an unspoken tension. Ko Diem Sin, oblivious to the moment, introduces them. Dong Tu immediately recognizes him. Not just from magazines, but on a much more personal level. As it turns out, the man Madame Ko so desperately wanted her daughter to impress is the very same man Dong Tu is trying to avoid. Bui Tu Tran confirms he knows who she is, the movie star, Miss Dong Tu. The two exchange words, a subtle game of politeness masking a deep-seated history. He sarcastically praises her outstanding acting skills, while she replies with a gentle, yet chillingly calm, smile. As they arrive at the party, a sudden rain begins to fall. Dong Tu, seemingly lost in thought, rushes out of the car, forgetting her umbrella. She stumbles, and is instantly caught by a strong arm. She is pulled into a firm embrace, where a familiar scent of wild herbs and wood fills her senses. It's Bui Tu Tran. He holds her close, his voice low and serious as he chastises her for wearing high heels with a still healing ankle injury, but she only sighs and says, "I don't care. What is the history between Dong Tu and Bui Tu Tran?" Why does she try so hard to avoid him, and why does he look so angry to see her with Ko-Diem Sin? Find out in our next summary. Welcome back. The story gets even more intense as our characters arrive at the lavish Lai family birthday party. The whole Ko family is there, and everyone from the upper crust of society has gathered to pay their respects to the host. As Dong Tu and Ko-Diem Sin enter, they notice that the true center of attention isn't Madame Ko, but a graceful and elegant woman named Luman, the current chairwoman of a powerful charity. Madame Ko, annoyed at their lateness, scolds them, with Ko Huang Fai adding fuel to the fire by blaming Dong Tu. But the real twist comes when Luman, a woman with status far above Madame Ko, takes an unusual interest in Dong Tu. She's not just impressed, she's taken with her. To the shock of everyone, Luman announces her desire to adopt Dong Tu as her goddaughter. This is a huge deal. Luman is a woman with incredible influence, and her approval is worth more than gold. Ko Huang Fai is furious, calling Dong Tu unworthy, but is quickly silenced by Madame Ko, who is thrilled by the sudden fortune. Luman goes on to reveal a past connection between their families, further justifying her choice and elevating Dong Tu's status in the eyes of the guests. But the biggest surprise comes when Luman presents her with a gift, a magnificent jade bangle, intricately carved with rare blue and emerald stones. It's a breathtaking piece, a powerful symbol of status and wealth. Dong Tu is in a daze, feeling the weight of the bangle on her wrist like a shackle. She knows this is a deal she can't easily escape. While the other guests are in awe, some of the men begin to make crude jokes, calling Dong Tu a femme fatale, and making lewd comments about a king losing his kingdom over a beautiful woman. They see her newfound status as a lucky break for an ordinary actress, and their jealousy turns to mockery. Just as Dong Tu is about to respond with her usual biting wit, a deep, cold voice cuts through the laughter. Bui Tu Tran emerges from the crowd, walking straight towards her. He stands before her, his eyes like dark pools, and a chilling smile on his face. He looks at the men who were mocking her and delivers a final, powerful line, "Even so, not everyone can manage it." Hey everyone, and welcome back to this intense story. After Bui Tu Tran's dramatic appearance, the party falls into an immediate silence. The mocking comments about Dong Tu vanish, replaced by shock and respect. It turns out that Bui Tu Tran is not just Elder Lai's grandson, he's the heir to the legendary Bui family, a dynasty with immense wealth and a formidable patriarch. Bui Kin. The Bui Tu Tran is not only cold but also exudes absolute authority, leaving everyone in awe. He gives a cold shoulder to Ko-Diem Sin's polite praises and even flatly rejects Ko Huang Fai's attempt to get close, leaving her utterly humiliated. As the party winds down, Dong Tu and Ko-Diem Sin plan to leave. However, Ko-Diem Sin is held back by Luman's assistant, who invites him to discuss a new hospital project. As a doctor dedicated to his work, Ko-Diem Sin immediately agrees. Dong Tu decides to leave the hall on her own. But bad luck strikes when she accidentally bumps into a waiter, spilling wine and juice all over her dress. Frustrated, Dong Tu is directed to a lounge upstairs to change. As the party winds down, Dong Tu and Ko-Diem Sin plan to leave. However, Ko-Diem Sin is held back by Luman's assistant, who invites him to discuss a new hospital project. As a doctor dedicated to his work, Ko-Diem Sin immediately agrees. Dong Tu decides to leave the hall on her own. But bad luck strikes when she accidentally bumps into a waiter, spilling wine and juice all over her dress. Frustrated, Dong Tu is directed to a lounge upstairs to change. Dong Tu goes to the lounge, takes off her shoes, and prepares to unzip her stained dress. Suddenly, as she fumbles with the zipper, a pair of strong hands grabs her, making her stumble backward. She's about to fall when she's caught. A familiar, dangerously low voice whispers into her ear, "I really want to strangle you." Bui Tu Tran not only appears out of nowhere but also corners Dong Tu. He calls her by the intimate nickname, Thien Tu, and brings up their shared past, a past she has desperately tried to bury. Dong Tu, however, remains cold and distant, repeatedly reminding him to show some respect, because she is now Madame Ko. This only fuels Bui Tu Tran's anger, and his eyes are filled with a possessive intensity. Their tense standoff is interrupted by a knock on the door. It's the hotel staff and Luman's assistant, who have brought a new dress for Dong Tu. Dong Tu knows this is a do-or-die situation. She has to deal with the people outside while preventing Bui Tu Tran from revealing the truth. While she tries to remain calm, Bui Tu Tran's actions are deliberately provocative. He strokes her back and whispers suggestive remarks, leaving her panicked and flustered. After taking the paper bag and closing the door, Dong Tu glares at Bui Tu Tran. "Are you done playing around?" Bui Tu Tran doesn't answer. After a brief struggle, Dong Tu walks into the changing room. She emerges in a new dress, looking confident, but as she's about to leave, Bui Tu Tran stops her. He rudely snatches her earrings and says they are much uglier than the old ones. His actions are a clear display of control and dissatisfaction with Dong Tu's current life. As Dong Tu walks away, Bui Tu Tran watches her, his face filled with rage. He throws the earrings into the trash, then picks up his phone and says to someone, "That project is a good one. Hand it over to him. All of it."